Reshopping insurance at renewals. Man, it's probably one of the most time-consuming activities inside of insurance agency. And artificial intelligence can play a vital role in helping you speed up this process. But are you doing it right? That's what we're talking about in today's video. So let's get started. But before we do, remember, share, subscribe, and like the channel below. Hi, I'm Chris with Niche Your Business. And for more than a decade, I've been building a flood insurance niche. And I help other insurance agencies build niches across the country now. But over here on the Artificial Intelligence YouTube channel, we teach insurance agencies how to use artificial intelligence the right way. Remember, following our 4-part framework, that is solving problems, removing frictions, improving customer experience, and improving employee experience. Today, we're talking about insurance reshops on renewals. But this is a big thing that's been coming across my desk a lot lately, and I've seen people sharing videos of using AI to reshop. Look, that's absolutely awesome. But here are a few things that you want to pay attention to. And these are very important things. Depending on what AI model you want to use, look at the fine print. Look and see how your data is protected. Look and see how your data is being used. It could be that you decide to give it your login information and it logins and it helps you reshop. The problem is it's sharing that data with everybody on the internet, especially if you're using a free version. It could be that it's sending that data into some kind of data model. So that data is being used to train other models. These are things you want to look at. So that's great and all, but you really need to speed up this process. So where do you start with using AI? Well, let's first of all start with this. Let's look at the problems and the frictions when it comes to insurance renewal reshops. Where is the friction? More than likely, it's a process problem. So we need to start there. We figure, all right, what is the problem in the process? It's not typically all the shopping, but it might be when you shop, how you shop, what you shop for. Those are things you should be paying attention to first. Because remember, we don't want an AI strategy. We want AI to be part of your overall business strategy. So how can you use artificial intelligence to improve your overall process when it comes to new business and renewals? You know, one of the things that we found on renewal is that we were shopping everything. We didn't have a threshold on a certain percent. We made that adjustment a few years ago and it really sped things up for us. The other thing that we were looking at was coverage amounts. You know, certain things that we start verifying. Certain things we start looking at 90 days. For example, you're telling every single customer that you reshop them and you have over 1,000 customers, that could be a lot of reshopping and you could be reshopping for no reason at all. So these are things you want to pay attention to. So how can AI become part of this overall business strategy for you? Well, I'll give you an example. Maybe you're trying to find information on a commercial risk before the renewal comes up. You're trying to verify something. This is where you potentially could use AI. You could use a Gemini. You could use a Perplexity. I'm a big fan of Perplexity when we're doing research, especially when helping commercial clients. I used it this morning when working with a commercial insurance producer on his video marketing. We were helping him figure out how to use AI to speed up his process of getting information back to clients, getting information to underwriters. And we were able to build a framework using something like Perplexity for the research part. This helped speed up the process. He wasn't spending days filling out an SOV. He wasn't spending days filling out an Accord form. Instead, he was able to speed his process up. Look, he still needed to verify this information, but he at least had it into that statement of value document that he could start working with underwriting on. He was having trouble figuring out things like, where does he find revenue? Once again, there's some AI tools out there like Gemini and Perplexity that can work together to help you with this. It's something we do every day. So when it comes to using this for renewals, these are things you want to think about. When you take the control and you log in still, it could be that these systems are still accessing your login information. They're accessing your customer's date of birth, a social if it's there, certain private information. This is something you want to be very careful. It's something you want to check with your errors and omission policy on. Are these things that are excluded? How does it happen if there's a cyber attack or a cyber incident on who's responsible here because of how this is being used? So you want to pay attention to these and look. We use artificial intelligence every day to help people build pricing calculators using their own data out of the CRM the right way. But you've got to understand there's certain data that you want nobody to have access to, and then there's certain data that you want to be able to use for different things. So this is where I would start when it comes to the renewal process and using AI. Of course, I would start with, hey, what are my problems and my frictions? What is the actual process? Why don't you talk through AI, what your renewal process is from beginning to end? And we've got a video over here. I'll click it up here in the corner where you can see it, where we worked with AI to completely rebuild our renewal pipeline. So maybe that'll help you get a start. Also, make sure to share, subscribe, and like the channel below so you can see these other updates. You can also join our private community where I teach these things every day. Look, we don't just use AI every day. I'm finishing a master's degree in it, and we've been implementing it for more than 5 years now on our insurance side and our marketing side. I'm Chris with Niche Your Business, and I want to say thank you for watching today's video on how to use artificial intelligence through the renewal process.